When ESL announced they would allow VAC ban players to return to competitive play, the community exploded in anger. Within minutes, the conversation turned from a debate about whether or not this was fair into, well, if VAC ban players are given a second chance, why aren't match fixers as well? The community's reaction is indicative of the commonality between these offenses, and if ESL want to stay consistent in their rule set, it may mean applying an equal ban length to both players that were caught for match fixing, as well as those who were caught for cheating. I don't think it's wrong to consider that match fixers, for example, by rigging games are able to guarantee a large set payout for themselves, but cheaters, albeit less directly, also steal money. In match fixing, as favorites, teams will bet against themselves and purposefully lose, stealing money from their fans and causing doubt in the community about the legitimacy of professional CS. That isn't right, but is it any worse than a cheater? A cheater is getting paid by their organization for what is an artificially inflated performance. They steal money from their peers by illegitimately winning and advancing in tournaments, and also cause just as much distrust in viewers who become unsure if the frags they're watching are even real. It's hard to say one is worse than the other when the outcome of both types of stealing often have the same impact and leave people feeling just as burned. For many, the thought that match fixing takes organization and planning leaves a bad taste in people's mouths. But cheating hasn't been a one-man operation for a long time. In the current state of professional esports, cheating isn't as simple as visiting a website and hitting download. It's understood that cheat providers have to be actively involved in distributing private cheats that were made for higher stakes environments like big LAN events. We know that cheats can be activated remotely, are often paid for monthly, and need to be constantly updated to provide new ways of bypassing anti-cheats. If it is the case that someone was in such a scenario, there has to be the consideration that there is a lot of thought that goes into it, and that even though there are less moving parts overall, each one is just as delicate. When it comes down to how we feel about it, match fixing strikes a chord most strongly with those of us who bet, or also those who just simply care about keeping our scene clean and healthy. In spite of this, many members of our community feel that cheating is clearly worse. But all that says to me is that a cheater evokes a more universal vitriol, because any of us can recall a competitive experience that was ruined by a cheater. ESL's rule change reminded us just how much we hate cheating, but it also reminded us about the fact that if the goal of the amendment was consistency, the match fixing should not be left out of the conversation. So what is the distinction? And where do we draw the line?